Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, performance enhancement expert, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 60 countries, such as the U.S., India, Canada, France, Australia, Belgium, Panama, Mexico. So I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformations. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. Now, you can listen to us Tuesday through Friday live at about 11 a.m. Eastern Time or sometimes noon Eastern Time. You can join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio Community. You can also subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, and the Google Play Music app. You can also subscribe to Blog Talk Radio and never miss an episode. On the show are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, and other content creators that are amazing at what they do and have a huge impact in everything that they do. My guest today does exactly that. This is a live show if you're catching us at one of our live broadcasts. So you can call into us at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. If you have any questions for myself or any guest that I bring on the show. So please help me welcome Jordan Paris. What's going on, my friend?
Thank you so much for that, Sean. I'm thrilled to be here.
So I was a guest on your show, Growth Mindset University, and we had a heck of a conversation, man.
We sure did. It's very cool to be on the other side now, 2 weeks later.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good times, man. So we are going to talk about growth mindset today, and I'm super pumped. It's part of the resilience that I deliver, and I think that growth mindset is super huge to have in any capacity, whether you're in business or you want to work a 9 to 5, you want to have like an epic personal life. You got to have a growth mindset, man.
Yeah. I mean, really, in a never-changing world, industries are always changing. The only thing you really need to learn is how to learn, right? And so that's what a growth mindset is all about: learning, growing, and becoming your best self. Striving to do that every single day. And I mean, I live to learn, and I grow to give. Why do I learn? I learn to grow. Like, why do I want to grow? To give value to others, to increase value, increasing my value will increase the value I can give to others.
I love it, man. I love it. So let's learn more about you before we get started. Jordan Paris is a 20-year-old author, trainer, entrepreneur, blogger, host of the Growth Mindset University podcast, a former college athlete, and an online coach who has been showcased in Men's Health as a beacon of light for inspiring people from all walks of life. His online coaching is sought after by people across the globe. You can go to his website at jordanparishealth.com, right there in the show note, jordanparishealth.com. So the first question that I always ask my guests is why? Why do you want to be an author? Why are you a trainer, entrepreneur, blogger? Why did you start a podcast? What is your deep why for what you do?
To empower people to seek their truth and design their life with that truth. Very simple. Nothing, not a whole lot more to it than that.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool. So, give me a transformational moment that changed your life, that put you on the path to what you're doing today.
Right. Okay. I've answered this question a couple times. I want to go with something different, actually. There's a couple moments like this. And I think I want to say one I haven't really said before. It was one day at my pool. It was March 18th. I was just sitting on the ledge reading. And March 18th, 2018, to be clear. And I decided right then and there, I said, wait a minute. I can write a book. I think I want to write a book. And it just occurred to me in that moment, just like that I was going to write a book. And I remember sitting there on that ledge. I go there all the time now, and that's my spot in the pool. Like, I love reading there and I love thinking there. And I remember going up to my place right after that. I kind of dropped the book I was reading, and I went up to my place, and I hesitated for all of 2 seconds. I said, wait a minute, am I really going to do this? And there wasn't a doubt in my mind. It was just like, yep, I'm going to do it. And I started writing the introduction to my book, which was sort of a misstep to start with the introduction, actually. I've now refined the process a little bit. I kind of had to take a step back and write out 50 different talking points in my journal of all the talking points I wanted to hit on in my book. And they became my chapters, my chapter titles, my headings, my subheadings, and some even became my principles that I outline in my book. Each chapter, it's kind of like How to Win Friends and Influence People, where at the end of each chapter there's a principle. So I had clarity after that. And 29 days later, I'd finished the book, and then 30 days later, so a total of 59 days, I finished writing it. It was March 18th to April 17th. That was when I finished writing it, and then I released it on May 17th, and all of a sudden I was a 20-year-old author, all because of a decision. I really didn't hesitate for more than 2 seconds. I didn't allow myself time, like 2 days to think about it and be like, you know what? Well, maybe I shouldn't do it, because if I hesitated for more than 2 seconds, I would have come up with 1,000 reasons why not to write a book. Mm-hmm. I just did it, man. I just did it. And ever since then, things have really been taking off. Things have been growing like they haven't really grown before. Audience, podcast audience, blog audience, web traffic, everything. I think it's just a lot has changed in the past, I guess. Wow. I mean, it has been just over 2 months since my book has been released, and I didn't tell anyone about it. I just kind of released it May 17th. I surprised my mother with it for Mother's Day on May 13th. And the only people that knew about it for those 4 days in between were, my family. And then I kind of shocked the world with it on May 17th, and it was a hit that day. And sales have come in. When you launch it, you get all these sales all at once, and then it kind of drips from there. But yeah,
very cool, very cool, man. So how did you publish the book? Was it like a CreateSpace or something like that?
Yeah, so I utilized a few different tools. I used Ingram Spark for my hardcover and for their Ingram Content catalog, because Ingram Content is where the bookstores order from. So I needed that possibility for bookstores to be able to pick it up. And then CreateSpace I used just for the paperback on Amazon. And CreateSpace was bought out by Amazon, so they make the process really streamlined and simple, as you know. And the CreateSpace catalog, CreateSpace Direct, bookstores won't order from them because it's an Amazon company, and bookstores do not like Amazon, and rightly so. They're destroying their business. So that's why I use Ingram Spark. I use them in tandem together. I utilize a few different tools there. Yeah, it's self-published.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Has your book hit any bookstores?
I'm working on that I know of, not really, but I am in talks with one in my hometown that's going to likely pick it up. Yeah, just the local bookstore in the town center. Yeah,
I like it. I like it. So do you ever get any people like, oh, you're just a 20-year-old kid, like, what do you know? Right? I mean, how can you be an online coach if you've never even, done anything in life yet? Like, do you ever get that?
Not as much as I thought I would, or maybe even should. I really see it. I really see my age as this huge advantage. It kind of separates me from the rest of the pack. And with everything, when I want to apply to, I use this example. I want to apply to Survivor, the TV show, the reality TV show.
Heck
and
yeah.
Their casting director says, quote, "We are looking for the young person with experience." And the young person, it's funny, the young person with experience doesn't really exist outside of very few, and I'm lucky. I would assume I'm in that few. I mean, it's just kind of a fact. I mean, I've done a lot, so I really look at it as an advantage like that. And a lot of people will hit me up and mention my age as a reason why they're talking to me and why what I'm doing is so cool. And I don't think I really have gotten shot down because of my age. One guy last week, he was talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you're such a friend of mine." He's like, "You're such a good kid." He's like 44 years old, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I gotta stop calling you a kid. You're not a kid anymore. You're an adult." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm gonna be a kid forever. Like, I'm never gonna grow up. I'm gonna be asking myself, what do I want to be when I grow up when I'm 90 years old? When I grow up, that's the end of life. Like that's it." So that's my philosophy there.
I like it, man. I like it. So what do you do now, and what do you enjoy most about it?
Right now, my focus is really on my podcast, Growth Mindset University. We're really ramping up production there. The audience is doubling every month. I love that. I love spending time and creating with my co-host, Chance Galloway, who's also in the sort of same space that I am, and I coached him through writing a book, and he wrote his 42,000 word book in 18 days, and it's going to be published in about a month or so or less. And I just really love what we have going on there right now. I love blogging, like almost every day, and I just love creating right now. And my web development business is really taking off to the point where like I kind of can't handle it all by myself right now,
Right.
And that's awesome. And I've been spending a lot of time on the web creating stuff there. So really my focus is on creation right now.
Very cool. So how did you get into this? What made you think that, I'm going to be, the online coach. I want to be, the entrepreneur. Like this is my life path, right? I mean, how did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, I worked at a restaurant for about 2.5 years, from age 16 to 18. Some silly little restaurant. It was upscale. I made, as a 16 to 18-year-old, I made $12 to $15 per hour, which was fantastic for being 16 to 18 in high school. I would tell people that and be like, "What?" And so I worked, but I was a slave, dude. I was an absolute slave for 2.5 years, and I knew towards the end when I really got burned out, I was taking shifts once a week, and then it was once a month, and then I never got fired, and I never quit. I just got so burned out that my shifts, I kept scaling back my hours, and it's so funny. Now that I think about it, like I said, I never got fired, and I never quit. I just stopped working there, and nobody said a peep. I just faded out. But I knew from then on, I'm like, I'm never getting another job. This is stupid, man. So, yeah. And in the ensuing year, year or two, I began to build things up, and one thing led to another. I never thought I'd be involved with websites, but I had to create my own. With a limited budget as an 18, 19-year-old, so I had to create my own. I wasn't going to hire someone, and I sucked at it at first. I really sucked at it, but I over time I got really good at it, and I take a lot of pride in my websites now. It's like the new school websites. I use all the new tools, all with the same old functionality and optimization and visibility on the internet, on the web. So yeah.
Very cool, man. I like it. So let's talk about the best part so far. What has been the best moment, or like the best part? I guess talk about the Men's Health magazine. How did that happen, and how'd that come about?
Oh, honestly, I mean, that's not even that big of a deal, It's I was in this Men's Health Fitness Council with 100 to 200 top trainers, and we would submit stuff and whatnot. So, I mean, it wasn't terribly difficult or anything like that. It was just, I appeared in there 4 times, with these different quotes and whatnot. I was talking about visualization and people judging you, as well as fitness stuff as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what were the other parts of your question?
Yeah. So, what's been the best part right now so far in your journey?
Oh, okay, yeah. So the best part then, well, that was one of my favorite moments. I remember in when I first got placed there on in Men's Health, and I was at the train station because Hurricane Irma in Florida. I transported my car up to Pennsylvania to my parents, and then so on the way back down, we were getting on the auto train. My car was being loaded on, and that's when I got the notification, hey, you're on there, and that was super cool. I was there with one of my best friends, and I just remember sharing that moment with him, and it was really cool. I'll remember that moment forever. The coolest part was May 17th, 2018, when I released my book. It was one of the best days of my life. It was really cool. I remember starting the day at 6 a.m. in Los Angeles, California, specifically Westwood, right near UCLA, and I woke up at 6 a.m. to call Amazon seller or whatever, and the Amazon author, program, and just because I had this one little worry. It was something so silly, I forget what it was, and I just wanted to make sure everything was okay, and they assured me everything was okay, and all the orders were placed, pre-orders, whatnot, and then so when I hung up that phone, it was all. I was like, okay, the worry was gone. I could finally share this book with the world. I didn't have to keep it a secret anymore. It was like this sigh of relief, and it was just an awesome feeling. Because it was 6 a.m. I didn't want to wake anyone up. I was out on the porch of the Airbnb in LA I was renting, and like I said, I remember putting that phone down. I was like, this is great. And then my mother and I had a great day planned. She wanted to take some cheesy Hollywood tour, which we did, but it was so cool. Actually, I've been to LA a lot, but she hasn't. But it was just cool to spend time with her and do that. And then we went to this. They have in LA now. They have these like scooters. This ride. You scan this scooter. It's called a Bird. You scan the scooter, and instead of like calling an Uber, you can scan the scooter and just like they go like 20 miles an hour, and you can just ride anywhere in the city. And they have these scooters all over the sidewalks in the city. It's the coolest thing. They're like brand new. So we, after the tour, we took the scooters to the Century City Mall, which is a beautiful mall. I love that place. I spend so much time there. And we ate at this place called Italy, and it was awesome. And I had spaghetti and pizza and wine, and it was a great day. It really was. It was just a peaceful day to really be able to finally share everything with the world.
Very cool.
It's like giving away all my secrets. Everything about me, everything. I think my thought processes, my thought patterns, and my truth. It felt so good. I had it all bottled up in my mind forever, and it was so cool to finally get it out. It was amazing.
Very cool. Yeah, I felt that way about my book. I'm like, man, I can't believe. I did Create Space for the paperback, and I did KDP, which you can do both on KDP, both paperback and the Kindle version. But
yes, I noticed it.
I just did both. Create Space and KDP. KDP I did for the Kindle version. So I can get the number one. I debuted at number 8. That's as high as I got. I debuted at number 8, and I was doing really well. And then, like a day later, I was like, I don't know, 50. and then by the week's end, I was like 100,000 and something.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool with no following either. I hardly knew anybody,
Mm.
But I'm sure my next book will go to number 1. So, but. But, I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows. We put stuff out in the world. We hope for the best. I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows. Talk about one of the worst moments so far that you've experienced, on your entrepreneur journey.
Okay. Let me think about this one. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll start with one little thing. Nobody noticed it, but there was this error in my book that I don't know how it was missed. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. And no one said anything. Nobody noticed. Even my mom, who would like 100%, say anything. If she saw it, like she'd tell me, but no one noticed. She didn't notice. So it was last chapter of the book, Live Impactfully, and when I'm going over, my actionable ways to make a real impact, it was the heading was 9 ways to make an impact, and then I proceeded to list only 8 over the ensuing like 4 or 5 pages. So I don't know, it was just me a little bit embarrassment there. And then I do that in my emails every so often. My blogs that go out daily, like I'll mess those up sometimes. It happens a couple times per year, and it's just really kind of embarrassing. I guess it's sort of almost self-centered in a way. I'm trying to think of, stuff worse than that. I don't know, man. Let me get back to you on that.
I think that's good though. Because you talk about growth mindset. You know what I mean? So I think it's good that if you think that that's one of the worst ones, Some people go through this, I'm ripping up everything. I'm quitting. I'm done.
Right.
Life sucks.
Yeah.
All this this bad stuff,
You know what? Here's one I have. I actually just thought of one. I remember the worst moment. I remember I used to think, this is the beauty of a growth mindset. You keep learning, you keep growing, you keep making new realizations and learning and improving upon your current assumptions. So I used to think back when I first started, Wix was the best thing, right? Like why would anyone use anything? Why would anyone not use Wix, right? But I discovered that's not it. I realized pretty quickly. I was like, wait a minute, I can't grow on this platform. All these tools that people are telling me to use, all these growth tools, I can't use them on Wix. I can't do anything on Wix, and my website. And then I started comparing my website to others, and I was like, crap, it sucks. And I was in this jam. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta learn WordPress, and I was so overwhelmed. You have no idea. The worst feeling ever, just that overwhelm. And I remember, people knew it. I was overwhelmed. Like, you okay? And it was horrible. I didn't know where to start. But, long story short, it led to, me being able to actually grow my business, and it led to a new business, right? Designing websites on WordPress. WordPress is I mastered it, and now it's like a degree. It's like a degree. WordPress is a degree. I mean, it's a degree you get highly paid for. I think it's better than any degree. I really don't think school, for the most part, is very beneficial to most right. people. Maybe for doctors, that might be the exception. But he ain't getting much. If you're taking marketing like I am, you ain't getting much out of it at all. Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I totally get that, man. I use Wix, and so far, I've had Wix for like 2 years, and at first I'm like, this sucks. And what's funny is I got the domain, I did everything I was supposed to do, and putting things together, and I'm Googling other speakers that I look up to. I'm Googling their websites, and I'm looking at what they got, and I'm like, dang, it's all like a WordPress site. I don't know anything about coding and WordPress,
Mm-hmm.
And then I apply to speak at events, and they're like, well, there's not a lot of social proof, and, just tell me how bad my website sucks, pretty much, And then I'm like, all right, well, I better figure something out. So I asked some friends, and I'm looking around. I'm just learning, right? So 2 years later, one of the people that I posted or emailed to speak at their event contacts me and says, hey, we saw your website, looks incredible, would love for you to speak at the event. And so badly I wanted to be like, heck no, you should have taken me 2 years ago, no, now that I'm all grown up,
Yeah.
Now you want me,
Now that I'm all grown up, yeah.
But, I was just like, oh, it's awesome. So you didn't take me before. I was like, no, you kind of looked like not good. Like, it was not good at all. You looked like a mess. But now you got your stuff together, So we'd love to, so it tells you something.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, always growing.
Mm-hmm.
Always growing.
Always. Yeah.
So what are the characteristics of a growth mindset? Let's talk about how somebody has a growth mindset. What are the characteristics that that somebody would have a growth mindset?
Yeah, this is, I'll tell you my biggest indicator right off the bat. Being a creator versus being a victim. Directing the flow instead of going with the flow. I hate when people say, I'm just going with the flow. That's the biggest turnoff in the world to me. I know right then and there, that's not my kind of person. People that work harder on themselves than anything else. people that give so much time to the improvement of themselves that they don't have time to criticize others. Readers, those are people with growth mindset. People who think and work for and expect the best. People can talk a big game, but you got to always make sure your actions align with your affirmations. Right? People can be deceiving at first glance, and there's a lot of talkers out there, not a lot of doers. And people that don't just get through the day, but people that get from the day, that learn from each day. They enroll in the University of Life. Those are my kind of people. Those are the people with a growth mindset. I look for, I can really spot these people very easily now, with language and, their daily habits. It's not too difficult.
No. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I think of people. Yeah. People that hope. People that say the word hope. People that are hoping for a change. People that are praying for a change. Like, no, dude, go ahead and make the change. Hope is a big red flag. That word hope.
Okay. When I think of, because I teach growth versus closed mindset, right?
Yeah.
So when closed-minded people, like, they don't accept any other information except what they think, feel, and believe. They won't accept, right? Like, oh, whatever, I don't believe that, so it must be false. Right? They're not open to new information or new ideas.
Yeah, their way or the highway. Yeah.
So in the military, there's a famous saying that somebody says, well, what are we doing? Well, this is just the way we do it. Why? It's just the way we have always done it. Oh, man, I hate that. It's the way we've always done it. Do it this way. It's the way we've always done it. I'm like, ugh. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, right? You can figure out a different way, and everything's changing. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much change in the world. Like, if you're not growing, if you're not changing, if you're not adopting or adapting even, but if you're not, like, adopting new ideas and principles and, you know what I mean? It's just, man, you get so fixed-minded on certain things. You can see it all over the news. I haven't watched the news in a while. Just
it's stupid, man. It's stupid.
Same crap every day. Like, move on.
Wasting your time watching the news.
Right? But growth mindset takes place when you open your mind to new ideas and new possibilities. Growth mindset happens when you change the status quo. Right? And you take a new path. I look at closed-minded people as they have their way of doing things, and that is it. Yeah. In addition to that, they will never accept change for what it is. Change is bad to them. They don't want change. They live in their comfort zone. They never do anything that's going to challenge the comfort zone.
If you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat. You got to get out of your comfort zone.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And another growth mindset characteristic would be that growth-minded people have a love of learning. They have a love of learning that I want to learn new things. I want to try new things. I want to experience new things. And so they have this love of learning where closed-minded people say, I know all I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't need to know nothing else. I know all I need to know. So
agree. Yep, that's all stuff I write about.
And a growth mindset, a lot of people, that I find that when I do my resilience training, is they're afraid of it. They're afraid to have a growth mindset because they're afraid of the possibilities. If you've been beat down your whole life saying you're never going to amount to anything, and all of a sudden you start to see success, you're like, oh crap, maybe I can. Maybe I can do this, and then you start getting all like, what if I'm good at it, So if I don't have any dreams, I don't have any disappointments. If I don't have any goals, I don't have any disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
But the growth-minded people want to, it's not just enough to go through an adversity, but you need to grow from it. And by growing, it's you're learning from that moment, whether it be, okay, I need to not do that again because that was hurtful and painful. And that experience it cost me my business, cost me my marriage, whatever. You can grow from a lot of things, past mistakes, because doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me, when I think of growth mindset, I'm like, it's about growing and becoming better than you were yesterday. And it's about knowing that even though you might fail today, you can succeed tomorrow. Whereas a closed-minded is not open to any new ideas, new possibilities, nothing. It is the old way is the best way.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So with growth mindset, you have to be influenced, and you have to be willing to be influenced. Because closed-minded people, they turn around and, like I said, like, I know all I need to know. Like all the information I need, So let's talk about that. Let's talk about influencers. Who are your influencers right now? Who do you follow?
Tony Robbins has always been number one there. I'm going to look to my bookshelf right now. Oh, Tim Ferriss. Oh, yeah, that one.
Ferriss, good.
Tim Ferriss, yeah. And let's see. Brendan Burchard, Ryan Holiday, those sorts of people. Those are Mark Manson. I love him. He's new for me. Mark Manson, he wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a you-know-what.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
Great book. One of my favorite reads of the year. And Vanessa Van Edwards, she's lower key than all those people I just mentioned, but she's really got me into behavioral science. I love her book Captivate: The Science of Succeeding with People. She kind of turned behavioral science into a passion of mine. Yeah. It's that's just one of the new skills I've been developing this year. Diving deep into that.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Are you a Gary V guy? Everybody's a Gary V guy.
Yeah, I like Gary V. I don't listen to him as often as as the other people. I listened to one of his podcasts like 2 nights ago, but it's not really a regular thing. I have him on my list of shows, and then I listen to his most recent audiobook. But yeah, I like him. I used to hate him. He's a love-or-hate kind of guy. I used to really not like his ideas, but he wore on me over time. He grew on me, like he does with so many people. I think he even says, the majority of people hate me at first, and then I grow on them. And he's so it happened with me.
Yeah. Very cool, man. What about supporters, man? What kind of support system do you have for, when you were writing your book and, you as an entrepreneur and online coach, what kind of support system do you have set up?
I love my, co-host Chance Galloway on, the Growth Mindset University podcast. He's awesome to lean on. We're in this, we give freely to each other, we give each other a ton of value. And then also Steve Jordan, celebrity trainer out in Los Angeles. I talk about him a lot. He was my mentor for a couple of years, and it's how I kind of got my start. And he's a huge part of my support system. Whenever something's wrong or down, like he really helps to pick me back up. And I only see him like once or twice per year. And last week I got to spend all week with him, so I'm feeling awesome and super refreshed. We were on a little mini vacation together. And, so he's a huge part of my support system. We spend a lot of time on the phone together. That's another relationship where we just give freely to each other. We don't keep score in our, I give to you, so you have to give to me. No, you just give freely. So it's funny. That's actually what my blog post was about today. That's why I keep saying give freely. And then of course, my mom, my dad, they're awesome. The support they, have given me has really enabled me to follow my dreams. They're very supportive of everything I do. They trust me. I think a lot of parents wouldn't be too comfortable with their kids really, taking a leap of faith like I've taken a leap of faith. It's like focus on school, study hard, get A's. Yeah. So they're closed-minded.
Very cool.
I have a good support system.
Right. Very cool, man. Very cool. So, like I put there, look at my little closed-minded.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, what do you think has been one of the best resources that you've used so far in your journey?
Resources? What do you mean by that?
So, I mean, you said before that, I'm looking at my bookshelf. Hold on, let me look at my bookshelf. Is it books?
Oh, yeah.
Is it podcasts? I mean, I don't look at websites as like a resource so much
Not
as
really.
like a tool. You know what I mean? Like a resource is something that I get inspiration, knowledge, power. Like I read Christopher Lochhead's book, Play Bigger. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to read this book, Play Bigger by Christopher Lochhead. And that reframed my entire life and how I look at business.
Okay.
That reframed my entire, I was like way off. And I'd already built a bunch of businesses, right, in my life. And holy smokes, completely changed my life.
Okay, then. So for me, what reframed my perspective was Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, that book. And, a lot of books. High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard, that's a newer one. The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I've read a lot of books. I love books. It's been a big part of my journey. It's the only reason I'm able to do what I do. And then also podcasts as well. It's turned, I don't waste time. When I'm in the car, I don't do it 100% of the time. I'll listen to music sometimes because you need balance. But I'll listen to podcasts in the car. I continue my learning in the car. I don't waste time. When I'm in the gym, I listen to a podcast. I was listening to one this morning in the gym.
Yep.
So books and podcasts have been a huge, huge part of my learning and growing journey. Those are my resources.
I love it. Yeah, man. there's a ton of podcasts out there, and I'll catch an episode here and there because it's somebody that I like. You know what I mean? I may not listen to the show, but somebody posts on Facebook or LinkedIn or somewhere like, hey, man, I was just on the show. I'm like, oh, I'd like to listen to that. If I like the show, then, maybe I'll continue listening.
Yeah.
There are shows that I absolutely listen to just because they are so phenomenal. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I have those set podcasts, books that I've read. But I've got some videos and stuff that I watch. Like I watch Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and
me too.
I watch other speakers. I'll watch a bunch of other TED Talks and stuff just to see how I'm analyzing their talk. What I like, what I didn't like. Ooh, that's really good. I'll use that. I think I'll try that one. That's a good technique. You know what I mean? And because I always want to be growing, I don't want to stay stagnant.
Right.
But that's
Favorite podcast, I would say, is Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu, the founder of Quest Nutrition. That's a great one.
Dude.
The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. That's a great one. 660 some episodes. You'll never run out. And Joel Osteen podcast when that doesn't really feed you knowledge, but it makes you feel good. And yeah. I have a lot of shows that use them on a rotating basis.
Yeah, I used a great one, man. A great resource is because I know you want to be a speaker, man. Is Grant Baldwin's Speaker Lab podcast.
Oh, I know him. I didn't know you knew him though. Okay.
Yeah, man. Yep. We just did a training with him in my speaker group. We just did a training. Grant Baldwin sat with us for about 35 minutes, and that was about 40 minutes, I guess. Talked to us, and he's like, "Man, this is what I would do," and here's what and so he does speak sometimes. He does speak, but he's more about mentoring speakers now. He says, "I make way more money with my programs and my podcast," and he's like, "That's what I love doing now." I'm like, "Oh, very cool." So there's hope for the future.
Right on. I get his emails. I didn't know he had a podcast. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yep. Speaker Lab podcast. It's amazing, dude. It's 180 episodes, whatever. What's his name? John, something like that. Acuff. That's an amazing episode.
Okay.
The one with him and Acuff. Acuff. Awesome episode. Very, very awesome episode. So yeah, man. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Some things I knew. And they're like, "Yep, already doing that. Yep, cool, on the right track." And there's ones I was like, "Wait, what? You can what? Wait, how do you what?" Never heard this before. So there's pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool stuff in there. So yeah, look at Grant Baldwin's Speaker Lab podcast.
Cool. So, okay, got it. I put it into my podcast app.
Perfect. So where are you headed now, man? What kind of new adventures, businesses, family? Like, what's the rest of 2018 look like for you?
Okay. Yeah. Helping get my friend Chance's book out. That's a huge focus right now for me. Growth Mindset University podcast, keep ramping up production there. Huge focus right now. And I started writing this book, but a couple months ago, right after my first one, but I trashed it. I hated it. I want to write another book though. I'm going to start writing that book as soon as I get a couple of big projects off my plate, and then I think that's really where I'm going right now. Keep growing my blog. My blog is my baby. I love putting stuff out. Like I said, almost every day. It was June. There's 30 days in June. I put out 29 posts. May I put out 20. This month, there's only we're 25 days in. I've put out like 20. Like I said, almost every day, and it's just it's like a public journal that people just so happen to like. And, it really helps me develop upon my ideas and thoughts in a way that I wouldn't have had I not begun writing.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. So what's 2019? What's on deck for 2019?
Okay. All right. I'm working on, becoming a TED speaker. That's something I'm super excited about. Survivor, the reality TV show, that's something I'm working on as well right now. And, I'm willing to drop everything at the drop of a hat to be on that show. I don't watch TV, but I love Survivor. That's that and Impractical Jokers. Those are my shows. Other than that,
I love Impractical Jokers.
Dude, I know. I watch it for health reasons. It's my way of, making sure I laugh every day. Every day at dinner, I sit down on the couch with my dinner and I watch an episode, and that's it. And I love it. I laugh. So even if I've seen the episode 10 times, which I have seen all of them 10 times, it doesn't matter,
Right.
Love that show.
Yeah.
So Survivor and TED are things on the docket for 2019. Survivor is more of a longer process. Maybe secure my spot in towards the end of 2018, 2019. Probably, realistically be on the show the year following. Maybe I think it is, from what I've heard, it's sort of a drawn out process, I guess, to, finally get on the show. But yeah.
Very cool. Very cool, man. So as we wrap up, we're doing a shameless plug. You can plug your friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, products, your favorite movie, give a shout out, whatever you want. Okay. This is your moment to shine. Shameless plug. Go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a salesman, but I would love for people to check out my blog, Jordan Paris Health -blog, and right there you can see this 150 posts, and put your email in right there, and you'll get every post. I call it #WakeUpHappy. You can wake up happy at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and that post will show up right in your inbox. And then the Growth Mindset University podcast, you can type it in anywhere you listen to your podcast. It'll come up, or you can just type in my name, Jordan Paris. That's it. That's all I want to share.
Very cool. Very cool, man. So as we wrap up, can you deliver your best nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today?
Right. Okay. I would say one of my principles from my book, you start viewing your setbacks as setups and your trouble as transportation, right? Trusting the process and knowing that it's most of the time all going to work out in the end. You're alive today because you have another victory in you. This might not be as fiery as some of the other guests have, given on the show as this final piece of wisdom, but that's what I would say. People are we live in a really stressed out world because people think it's the end of the world when every little thing happens, myself included. But I lessen that pain when I know that my setbacks are setups. It's a daily thing, trusting the process. You can start doing that. You can start trusting the process right now.
Got it. I like it. Very cool. Very cool. So I want to thank you for your time. Amazing content, amazing conversation. I really, really appreciate that.
My pleasure, Sean.
So where can everybody contact you? Where can everybody find you and find your show?
Like I said, just jordanparishealth.com and Growth Mindset University, and you type that into wherever you listen to your podcast.
Very cool, man. Well, I want to thank you for your time, and we will continue the conversation, I'm sure.
I'm so glad we reached out to each other. You and I have been keeping the conversation going, and in the 2 weeks since our previous interview, and I look forward to our next phone call, hopefully in the next couple of days, man.
Couple of days, man. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Be this week. Heck yeah, man. Awesome. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, another amazing guest, another impactful episode. If anything resonated with you, connect with Jordan Paris. If you have any health questions, if you value health and longevity, this is the guy that you need to be talking to. He is a beacon of light for inspiring people for all walks of life. Connect with Jordan Paris at jordanparishealth.com. Subscribe, rate, and review to his show, Growth Mindset University, wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review Life Transformation Radio. It is how we know we're doing well and what we can improve on and what you all think of the show. So as we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, have a great night.